Okay, so something weird happened last week. Undead Labs teased something on their Facebook page. Now, this page was full of runes that we all had to decipher, and there is a screenshot that I took personally, and the timestamp showed something happened 2 hours ago of when I took it. And this made us all think that we're maybe about to see a new trailer or some sort of new info at the Xbox showcase, because why would you tease something right before the show? Well, the show came and went and nothing happened, and there's been nothing but angry people from what I've noticed, whether that's Reddit or the State of Decay Discord. And guys, I am here to tell you this does raise a lot of questions that, aren't so great. And the good thing is I do think we can answer some of those, but the good thing too is that I was able to find some official developer responses from a few developers at Undead Labs that I'm going to share with you here in a moment. Now let's go ahead and start with the fact that Undead Labs has been quiet now for a year regarding State of Decay 3, and the fact that they were missing from the Xbox showcase and what that means. And we're going to actually start with the official response from Brant Fitzgerald. This is a developer who works at Undead Labs. He, on a Reddit post responding to some of these disappointed posts, he goes on to say, and I quote, "Sorry folks, it can take a significant effort away from the actual production to create the materials for shows like this, and we thought it was best to keep our effort focused on the game." So there you have it. For those wondering if the game is still in development, it absolutely is, because I think that was actually a common question that I saw from a lot of people yesterday. Is this game still happening? Is it actually canceled? Yes, that was a serious question, and it very much is still in development, still in play. Brant also went on to repeat himself in another Reddit post and finally even said, "Don't worry about the game, we are just very busy." Now, what I didn't tell you at the start of this video is they actually took down that Facebook post that they teased, and that signaled to me that maybe we actually weren't going to see anything at the Xbox showcase, because they saw the smoke that was creating and they said, "Oh crap, we got to take that down because people think we're actually going to see something." And that ultimately did make me think that that was kind of like an accident. But earlier this year, I was expecting to see something if we were going to see the timeline of State of Decay 3 releasing in the first quarter or the second quarter of next year. And guys, I gotta say, I saw that silence at the Xbox showcase. That to me spoke volumes about what we're potentially going to see now with the release of State of Decay 3. And the reason for that is typically because Xbox actually showcases and reveals their big games at this point of the year, and you kind of start that hype release. I was fully hoping to see a release window at the very minimum, and the fact that we didn't get that makes me think we might not see this, maybe not even the first half of 2026 like I thought. Then to add on top of that, the release of GTA 6 is the info I didn't have earlier this year, is that it's coming out in the first half of next year, and that is kind of something that a lot of game companies don't want to contend with. And so what does that mean as far as when we might actually see State of Decay 3? Well, let's start with the fact that if we're gonna actually see it in Q1 or Q2 of next year, how soon would we actually get an update if we are gonna see it at those dates? Well, at first glance, my thought is maybe we could see something at this year's Gamescom or maybe in December at the Game Awards, but more than likely none of those things are actually gonna happen. I would be in absolute literal shock if we saw a new trailer or an update for State of Decay 3 at those this year, because Xbox typically likes to save their big reveals for their own showcase. But I mean, anything is technically possible. I mean, it's possible, a Hail Mary, and we see something, but I really doubt it. In theory, if the game is set to come out in Q1, like an Xbox insider mentioned earlier this year, we absolutely would see something officially this January in 2026 at the Xbox Developer Direct. But the thing is, we more than likely would have already seen a trailer at the showcase that we didn't see anything in. So again, more than likely, I just don't see it happening. So I guess ultimately all this is to tell you guys that none of this is looking good, and I'm starting to think that the earliest we could see State of Decay 3 is now maybe late 2026, which when I really think about that, it makes me think, could we actually not even get the game until 2027? Leading to that lady that from some time ago, or I think her name was Nora on LinkedIn, she had had it set to where the game said set to 2027. Maybe like she was actually onto something and she maybe accidentally gave away the release date. Who knows now? Maybe that door is back open. Either way, we do have one more developer response to everything that's been happening the last couple of days. Jeffrey Carr, developer at Undead Labs, on his official YouTube channel. Check it out if you guys want to see his State of Decay content. He responded on the day of the showcase to someone saying, "I was expecting a trailer," and Jeffrey says, and I quote, "I think you would probably rather we kept pace working on the game rather than stopping to make another trailer." And his last response to someone asking if the game's even alive and if the game is alive and well, and he responds, "State of Decay 3 is alive and well." So there you guys have it. Now, I'm not a game developer. I don't know what kind of resources it takes to make a trailer and how that pulls from the actual making of the game, but I was at Undead Labs last year, and from what I could gather, it did seem like it is a all hands on deck type of thing. So I do believe them when they say that, and if that's truly the case, I rather them work on the game than working on a new trailer, because if it does take away a lot from the game, then yeah, let's have them just make that game. But with that said, I feel like Undead Labs, I feel like they can understand when it's crickets from them, like from them at the showcase, especially when it seemed like they were teasing something days before. I feel like they can understand, right, why a lot of people would be pretty upset, why a lot of people would be disappointed. The hope for a lot of us was to see a release window, maybe some type of gameplay, since we really did see so little last year. I saw so many comments speculating that this can't be good if we don't see any information, if we don't see any gameplay, and the fact that we haven't seen anything significant signals to a lot of people, is this game in trouble? So a lot of people were really hoping for reassurance, and I totally get that to a degree. And then when you put things into further context, the first trailer for State of Decay 3 actually dropped back in 2020. Then it makes it seem like what have they been doing all these years? But I've talked about this before on the channel. I think even in my last previous video, they were still in pre-production just some years ago. So this has been, a slow burn for development. But either way, guys, I'm still in the camp of let them cook, because at the end of the day, we still want the very best, the very best State of Decay game that we can get, right? I mean, that's still the ultimate goal. And I'm personally, maybe blindly, but I'm personally going to still trust the process. But I won't lie to you, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It does make me a little worried as to when we might see this game, because it could be a long time from now. Either way, guys, let me know what you think.